Pollution in the environment. How long have we been talking about this and known about it? I speak to nuclear conversations because they're older than me. I what I'm referencing in general about the harm, the risks, is well known, well documented, and has been. But the industry has had almost a whole generation to wait for folks to die off. This is how the they're corporations. These things are different than us. Their intents and their needs and desires are different. They aren't human. So, first pollution thing I remember, I'm going to say I was young teens and we enjoyed seafood. My mom's from Canada, Nova Scotia, and seafood's big. So, but couldn't eat swordfish, and even tuna was mentioned. Pelagic fish, that's where I got the word from in my teens. I don't do sports ball. So the warning came out and people were told not to consume a lot of fish, and a lot of other fish at that time were starting to come up as don't eat, right? Actually, it was before me because this was Love Canal. This was, go back and look at Love Canal, Bhopal. So personal touches with pollution. DDT contaminated the drinking wells in our town. People got cancer. My mother got a cancer, very likely related to that. Is there evidence? Is there proof other than the history of other people having? So there was no one to blame really for that, other than the DDT that was poorly stored on an old abandoned naval weapons base and polluted the town's water supplies. I don't know how it is. That was decades ago. They turned the well off, and that was an introduction to something called cluster studies, a whole nother video. Even how I got introduced to them. My son got diabetes type 1. You wonder what type of pollution might cause that, if it was pollution. We don't know. It was around before our pollution, so that's not one I can necessarily blame. But chemical triggers could be an issue in there. Do we look at that? Do we wonder? We do. There are folks looking. How hard, how well, how funded. So, pollution. I lived in North Carolina. While in North Carolina, there was dioxin sprayed on the roads all across the states. And it wasn't just North Carolina, but that was one that got caught. Dioxin covered towns. There's a town in, I want to say Louis. They bought out the whole town. The whole town. You shouldn't go back there. Dirt roads sprayed with dioxins. Pollution. What was a big one? Chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. The release of CFCs were destroying the ozone layer. We proved it, and heavy industry actually did something. They had to because of laws. We had them. They were killing people, causing cancers, destroying the atmosphere as we know it. Now, that was decades ago when we knew about it. Asbestos from brakes. Long, slow story of a pollution we learned about, we know about, we know well about. It's still in the news. General Electric is cleaning up some of its avarice and use of that material. Leaded gasoline. We learned long ago lead was bad for human intelligence. Think about Flint drinking water. We knew, people said no, don't do that, and they weren't listened to. They were overruled by financial considerations and a desire to break a Detroit union. This is the social noise that shallow politics kills. This is politicians accepting money from corporations and their ideas without any forethought, without any vetting, without peer reviews. So these stories are too widespread. Our garbage dumps from before we knew about it are still leaching things into the soil. Recycling, we pay lip service to recycling. We've known the old batteries we used to use, the Energizer Bunny batteries, the billions of them we've consumed shouldn't have been put into landfills. Maybe we should have done something about that, or charged a price for the batteries that covered all the water purification systems that the nation might need. So there is a need for a strong federal government that works. But people with libertarian ideals don't think so, and they're wrong. People with ideas of an afterlife are leaving their children here to live with it. Dominion is a word back there hidden in our politics. These people don't care. They do care. They're getting personally wealthy. They think they're going to survive all of this, but the pollution is so systemic. The damage to the human genome might be enough. The damage to the planet's genome might be enough with the energy from radiation, if these things keep happening, to quickly change the future of the planet. You think climate change is interesting? So there's more noise. A bit of coffee. I guess I should have taken notes.